What's up guys, my name is Sean from White Jade Productions, and today we're gonna take a deep dive into gear you absolutely need to buy, starting from the very beginning with a camera, moving your way on up through lenses and other accessories onto gear you want but you don't need. I have compiled some gear here and some gear behind the camera that I think you should work towards, but absolutely isn't necessary if you're just starting in your career or you don't yet consider yourself a cinematographer or director of photography. So let's get into it with the gear you absolutely need. Our essentials. First things first, you need a camera. Now, I know a lot of people will complain about specs and they're gonna talk about 4K, 6K, 10-bit 422, and a bunch of other stuff. In reality, if you're just starting out, any camera will work. Most of them these days are really, really good. Just try and buy something that's been made in the last 5 to 8 years and you will be set. However, a couple suggestions I do have. See if you can get a camera that shoots log. This is a Nikon Z6 original. It does not shoot log internally. It only shoots it externally. So this will be a no-go for video shooters. However, if you're a photo person, it works good. I do use this camera from video from time to time and it does work fine, but you might want to upgrade to the Z6 II, which is maybe $100 more expensive and has log into it. Or you can get something like this. This is the Lumix S5. Don't be intimidated by the giant lens and monitor on top. We'll talk about those in a second. This camera costs anywhere in the ballpark of $500 to $800 these days. It does shoot 10-bit 422 log. It's great. It has a 6K sensor, only shoots in 4K, so you can crop in. A bunch of other features, really cool, really useful. All you need to know, it shoots 10-bit 422 in log. That's all you need to know starting out. Now, cameras aren't really that hard. If you're looking for something very niche that does something very specific, well, you probably know what you're looking for and you're not watching this video to gain what should I buy camera stuff. If you are, leave a comment below telling me what you need and I will be happy to answer and tell you what cameras would be best for you, but that might be another video for another day. Next, we have to talk about lenses. So you've got your first camera, what lens do you buy? Now, I am very partial to telling people you should get vintage lenses. Go for something vintage. They're usually really cheap. You can find them at reselling thrift stores. You can get them on eBay for 20 bucks a piece. If you're getting something like the Helios 442, which I'm actually shooting on right now because I have the rest of the gear in front of me, they cost about 100 bucks. But my recommendation will be a used 24 to 70, something old, something that isn't flashy, doesn't have a lot of features. Currently on my Nikon Z6, I have the Sigma 24 to 70 2.8. I would suggest getting a faster aperture. You will outgrow that f4 quickly, especially if you shoot indoors. I find this lens covers most of my needs for a lot of corporate jobs. And when it doesn't, I find myself gravitating towards the Sigma 70 to 200. Now, both of these lenses cost anywhere from about 200 to 350 bucks. Not expensive at all, and they do support autofocus. These ones are specifically for f-mount. However, I focus them manually all the time. They work great, very useful. Now, the next thing you're gonna wanna do, especially if you shoot manually, is get yourself a good monitor. On here, I have the Andy Cine X5. This has very quickly become my favorite monitor. I have never been so happy with a monitor. I've actually talked with Andy Cine about this and said, hey, when are you coming out with the version that supports SDI? They told me they're working on it and they're gonna send me a unit once they become available. Their engineers apparently wanted to fine tune some stuff, which did delay it, but hey, if you guys want to make it better, work out all the kinks, I am all for that. This monitor has probably been one of my favorites. I think it costs right around 189 bucks. I believe that's the price on Amazon. By the way, all of this gear in the video is linked down below in Amazon or some other link, which you can use to go purchase it. I do get a commission of that, so I appreciate it when you guys do that. This monitor though, 10 out of 10. If this monitor ever breaks, I'm buying another one, if that says anything. It has RE false color, regular false color. It has all of the features you need to monitor, all of the anamorphic D-squeeze features. You can do custom anamorphic D-squeeze. It's got function buttons on top. It's got a fan, not loud at all. I can use one of these batteries. This is an MPF, I think like a 7 or 970, sorry, MPF 970. This will run this monitor for just about 8 or 9 hours straight. Insane, super power efficient. If you're gonna buy a monitor, this is the one to get. I promise you won't regret it. That's not coming from They paid me to do this. Nobody's paying me to make this video. Nobody's paying me to talk about this gear. That's just my personal experience. I love this monitor. It really is a 10 out of 10. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, please give me a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. If you are subscribed and you watch my videos a lot, hit that notification bell. It lets you know when my videos come out so you can watch them and you don't miss a thing. Back to the video. In order to record, you are gonna need media. Let's talk about these. This is a media storage case. This one specifically holds SD, micro SD, and CF Express Type B. Now, if you have a camera that shoots CF Express Type B, that is what, oh, I almost dropped it, let's not do that. That's what these cards look like. They are great. I know a lot of people complain, oh, CF Express Type B, usually you only get one slot. That's totally fine. A lot of cinema cameras that shoot on CF Express Type B only have one spot. The Red Komodo being one of them. I believe the Blackmagic cameras, the Pixis, also only has one slot for them. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's true. It's totally fine. When it's an SSD, think of it as recording to an SSD. That's basically what it is. They're super stable. They do not fail. If you do get one, or you're getting SD cards for your camera, please get 256 gigabytes or higher. Get as fast as you can, spend 200 bucks on a memory card. Yes, that will be like the most painful purchase of your entire life. I promise you it'll be worth it. Now, I do want to circle back to another lens. I said the 24-70 is a great starter lens. It truly is, but sometimes you need a little more reach. And for that, the 70-200. I believe this runs around 250 bucks to 300 bucks. It's Sigma as well. Again, I will link this stuff down below, and I have videos about almost all of this gear here, so you can search my channel for it. This lens is actually amazing. I really, really do love it. I've used it a lot for basketball, sports, but I use it a lot for events as well. I'm doing a live streaming event for a private company, and so I'm actually gonna use that lens there. It's just a phenomenal lens, works great. f2.8, under 300 bucks or right around that mark. Totally worth it. Now, I do manual focus this lens a lot. It's easy to manual focus. This is an essential if you need to do telephoto stuff. 24-70 and 70-200 is like the most common combo out there. You're gonna wanna get some other lenses, but those are definitely two to start with. Now, I do have two more lenses right here that I think are a very good pickup. These are Nikkor G-Series 1.8 primes. Now, I just did a whole entire video about this and it got a lot of positive response. So if you guys want to, you can check it out. It'll be up there somewhere, or you can look it up on my channel. These lenses are amazing. The 50 1.8 cost about 130 bucks. The 85 costs a little closer to 300, and there are a few other focal lengths, but either way, no matter what you shoot, I'm not really advocating for these lenses in particular, but get some f1.8 primes. They will level up your game. You will be able to get creamier bokeh. You'll be able to see better in the dark. It will just change how things work. I know a lot of people are all about dual base and triple base ISO. How high can you push with your ISO? But if you're stuck on, you know, a 2.8 or an f4 lens and you jump to a 1.8, that's gonna give you a lot more light, multiple stops of light. In fact, if you're jumping from an f4 to a 1.8, that's over 2 stops of added light. So think of that from going ISO 800 all the way to ISO 3200 or 4000. That's about that equivalent jump. You want to get those primes. They're usually pretty cheap, no matter what brand you're going with. Just buy something a little bit older. The point of this video is probably for your essential gear. If you're starting out, you don't have a lot of money, don't worry about getting the latest, greatest, most expensive stuff. It is probably not worth it, and you probably won't reap the benefits of spending extra hundreds or even thousands of dollars this early in your career. Upgrade to that gear when you can afford to. It'll be totally fine. Now, let's talk about some other stuff, specifically audio. Now, this is what I'm using right now. This is the Hollyland Lark M2 mics. These are mics that I swear by. They don't have the craziest range, so make sure to actually lab somebody up physically if you're doing something important and it's kind of far away, or plug in audio directly to your camera if there's a soundboard or DJ. But this is what they come in. I don't have anything in right now because I'm using them. It's 2 mics, 1 receiver. Obviously, you can see how good it sounds. I would use these mics. They're like 120, 130 bucks off Amazon. I'd use these for basically everything I can. You can hide them. You can put it on like a baseball cap. So if somebody's talking and you wanna, let's say, do this, You can hide the mic there. Obviously you can put it in between somebody's like buttons on their shirt, or just put it right here if you don't care. Luckily it is very low profile, so most people don't even notice. I have people asking me all the time, wait, what is that on your shirt? I've been talking to you for like 10 minutes. What is that? I'm like, it's a microphone. I'm doing YouTube stuff. It's nice to have. Now, if you're not gonna be using lavs a lot, please get a boom mic. Some kind of shotgun, I don't care, something like this. This is the Deity S Mic 2. I think this microphone sounds phenomenal. I get comments a lot on my channel going, yo, dude, what mic are you using? It sounds great, whenever I'm using this mic in particular. Of course, we need somewhere to actually put our footage. These are Seagate, I think this is a 5 terabyte hard drive. I highly recommend these. They're constantly making higher capacity versions of these, and I wanna say they cost around 150 bucks. I'll put the price on the screen here. It's always changing in price, so I genuinely have no clue, and I got this one for free when I was in school. But I own like 4 or 5 of these. They're great. If you're gonna be storing media, especially long-term, these are phenomenal. You don't need to do anything but plug it into your computer. They power off of your computer, which is very nice. I particularly like them because they're very portable. I know people are into the SSDs, but I've run into a lot of problems with Samsung SSDs and the SanDisk SSDs. Sometimes they just end up being slow, and I have issues with transfers and stuff. So I'd rather stick with a hard drive whenever I'm storing stuff, and genuinely they're fine to edit off of. No, you can't really Velcro it to the back of your computer. You know, I suppose you could, but like, you know, they're still sizable enough that, you know, you can put it on the table, or you can put it in your lap, or you can put it, you know, wherever you really need and work off of it remotely. So I would edit off of that in like a plane or a car, and I have. It works totally fine. I would really recommend people buy those. Just really easy to store your stuff. You're not dealing with big clunky hard drives, very compact, and they work great. But now let's move on from storage. I know that's not really as fun to talk about, and talk about some interesting stuff, specifically matte boxes and filters. This right here is the newer mini matte box, PG002, I guess that's the name of this one. There are a ton of really budget, cheap clip-on matte boxes. I suggest you get one. Now, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, to cut out the flares, you know, charge clients more. You know, that's debatable. I think that's more of a joke than anything now. This is good for getting really high quality stuff. And if you're gonna be running a little bit more of a rig, you're a little less run and gun, you might be handheld, these come in super handy, especially with lenses that may flare up a lot. The flag is nice, you can rotate it, you don't have to put it on rods. When I'm running really professional rigs, I love using like the RE LMB, best matte box in the game. Bright Tangerine matte boxes are phenomenal as well, but I don't like putting these on rails. Just something that you can clip onto a lens, just bam, lock, we're good, take it off. Very nice, very easy, especially when you're doing a lot of lens swaps. I highly recommend these. But the reason I really recommend people get a matte box isn't for the matte box itself, it's for these. These are filters. Now, something I personally really like is black mist filters. I don't like them super strong. This is a quarter stop from K&F Concept. I think it behaves a little more like an 1/8 stop, which is why I got this version. I really like it. Throw it in my matte box. And the reason I throw it in my matte box instead of getting a circular version, which is a little cheaper, I think these are like 80 bucks, is just it's easier to swap on lenses. Whenever I'm using a lens and I'm just swapping them a lot, it's easier just to take off my matte box, put it back on, instead of buying multiple filters or swapping them around. You know, say I accidentally pick up the wrong filter, and now we have different stops. This is just consistent and easy. I use this one a lot. Also, high quality ND filters. You will see a lot of people try and sell you the, I'm not gonna name them, but you know the filter I'm talking about. I don't wanna spend 300-400 bucks on a filter. Again, I think I spent like 130 bucks for these two ND filters. It's a 0.9 and 1.8 ND filter. I either use one of these or I stack both of these. Very minimal color cast. They look absolutely phenomenal. These are all must-haves if you're getting into cinematography. These are something you're going to want to get, and something that I personally think will level up your images. I'm fine with the VND, but having to correct it all the time is not fun. Those are way easier to use, way easier to handle. Now, if you are gonna use circular filters, This is a piece of gear I highly recommend getting. This is something I use all the time. This is a Nisi filter caddy. It holds like 8 filters. I have some in here right now, 2 V&Ds, a clear streak filter, which I use more as a coaster. This is another story for another day, and a circular polarizer. That's what I have in here right now. This is great because whenever I'm shooting weddings, documentary stuff, more run and gun things, I will hang this on my belt loop and it'll just stay with me all day. So, oh shoot, I need to take off my V&D because we're inside. Screw it off, take it, slide it in the pouch, and we're done. That's it, it's over. Oh, I need to pull something out. I don't even have to set my camera down. This is a must-have, not to mention it just holds all your filters and you don't have to worry about extra cases. It's great. Now let's talk about something that I think is a little bit controversial, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway. Extra batteries. I'm gonna be so real. Everybody's all about, oh, you need to get V-mount this, V-mount that, rig up your cameras with a V-mount so it lasts all day. I can get about 7 to 8 hours of runtime off of just 2 of these little batteries. Now, maybe I'm not using a camera that's very power hungry, but I'd rather carry like 2 or 3 of these in my back pocket than have a whole V-mount on my camera and have to disassemble it whenever I need to use a gimbal or something. I just feel like that's kind of unnecessary. And when I'm not using them, this is something else I highly recommend. Get yourself a power bank. This one's from iNew. I love this power bank. It'll power a camera longer than an average V-mount will. So if I really need to power something, I'll run a cable, put this in my back pocket, run a cable to my camera, or I'll charge my camera batteries or my monitor batteries or my drone or something else in my backpack with this while I'm shooting. So I can always have something charged. Super useful, highly recommend just getting extra camera batteries and like a power bank like that. It's very much worth it. Now let's talk about a couple more things that I feel are very useful. Quick side note, just get yourself a toolkit. This is Hyper Tough. You can find these at like Walmart. It just has everything you need. So if you need to do like any kind of mount swap, for example, on my Red, I'm swapping mounts a lot. I use that. If I'm ever doing any kind of repair or I need to attach a cage or remove it or whatever else, some screws come loose somewhere, having that on hand is super useful. Just a side note, everybody should get one. They're like 10 bucks, you know, who cares? Let's talk about gimbals. I know you've seen this sitting here. You're wondering, when is he gonna talk about the freaking gimbal? Gimbals are some of the most useful tools as a videographer, cinematographer, or DP that you can have. I personally have gotten so good with my gimbal that I can make it look like a dolly, I can make it look like a crane, I can make it look like a Steadicam. I've gotten really, really, really good with it, and that's just come with practice. I would recommend getting a newer gimbal. This is the RS2. I will not be upgrading from this until it breaks. In all honesty, I love it. I'm very comfortable with it. Every time I change gimbals, I have to kind of relearn the mechanics, and they've changed some software, and there's always something funky. Try and stick with the gimbal as long as you can until you need to upgrade, unless you have like a really cheap one. RS2 is great. I think I paid like 200 bucks for it. So as a beginner, that is affordable. But the RS3 or RS4 Pro are very good options. However, I have managed to fit Red Komodos, Pixis, and my Red Dragon on here. I've seen people put FX6s on this gimbal. It's fine, don't worry about weight. Let's talk about something else that I think matters a little bit more. It's tripods. Get yourself a really good tripod, and I mean a really good tripod. Spend 200 bucks on a tripod, please. Get a good head that handles a lot of weight, has all the features, is comfortable, easy to use, has great legs. Just do it. I own like 3 or 4 tripods. Some of my favorite tripods are the Manfrotto tripods. I really like those, but the Manfrotto tripods I'm referencing, I don't remember the name, are like 1,200 bucks up. I love the Flowtex. They're really good, expensive stuff. The tripods I own are from Sure. I'll link both of the ones I use down below. I'm using one right here that's got spreaders on the bottom so it can get real low. This one does not, but it's a little easier to carry, and I think it's like 150 bucks or something. Both are good tripods. I'll link them below. Check them out. Okay, let's talk about it. The gear you don't need, but you should probably work towards and eventually get. Gold mount or V-mount batteries. This is a gold mount battery. I don't have a V-mount battery on me, actually. I left it in my car. Whoopsies. Don't leave gear in the car, guys. These are useful. As you progress as a cinematographer, you're gonna wanna leave your camera on all day if you're on a set. Swappable batteries are nice. Sometimes when you build out a rig, it's not as convenient, not as easy. Have a V-mount, it is nice, especially when you upgrade to a cinema camera, super useful. let's talk about lights. I do recommend most people get lights early, but it's not a necessity if you're a videographer, at least not always. Oftentimes they'll be supplied, you can rent lights, or you just don't need them because you're a videographer and not a cinematographer. But the first light I'm gonna recommend to you is the Amaran 60X. This is dummy cheap. It's super cheap. Just go ahead and buy one. They're battery powered. If you look in a lot of my videos, I will have a rim light, or I'll put like some slashes from the blinds on the wall. I use this light all the stinking time. I just did a short film and I had access to like a whole rental house's worth of lights. I use this one the most. It was on almost every shot. Super useful. It's got a bunch of effects. In addition to that, get like these newer light tubes. These things are just super useful. Just a little light tube. You can put this in other places. I use them to like fake lamps and stuff all the time. Again, not something you need, but something you should probably get as you advance. Now, something I do want to talk about real quick, anamorphic adapters. I've done a lot of videos on anamorphic adapters. This one is my favorite. It's from Sure. I've seen a lot of other ones. I really like this one. I don't care as much about the oval bokeh. Get a lens like the Helios 442 or like these Nikkor G Series 1.8 primes. This will look super anamorphic on it because these already kind of have that vintage anamorphic feel. I love this anamorphic adapter. Super worth it. They're like 250 bucks right now from Sure. Not something you need, but if you want some sauce on your images, it'll be really nice. Okay, let's talk about them. The Blazar Remus lenses. I feel like these are such a controversial lens for absolutely no reason. They're cheap, they look good, people complain about them. I really don't know why they're $1,000. I find it very difficult to differentiate the Remus line from like the Atlas Mercury. If I'm watching, I can tell, but in some of these side-by-side tests on YouTube, I do struggle to see the difference. Like I can see it, but it's pretty minimal. And if you decided to cut between the two, I'd find it very difficult to tell, especially on any kind of crop sensor camera. It becomes very difficult, very quick. It's the edges that sell it. And unless you're shooting open gate, you don't really see that. So I gotta say, these are a phenomenal pickup. For the price, they're amazing. I have the 33 and the 65. The 45 looks amazing as well. I highly recommend it. These are just good lenses to pick up. They really will elevate your game. If you wanna do it for cheap, Sure anamorphic adapter. If you really wanna go for it, these lenses are great. Get the PL version, don't get the M version, get the PL version. I've used these a lot. I just can't tell you how much I love these lenses. They are absolutely worth the money, but if you are getting started, do not think that it will make your stuff better. You'll probably, if you're not good and you're not great at lighting, you're not great at framing, and I don't mean you're not competent and you're not good. If you're not great, if you're not amazing with your lighting and framing and have that down to the point where you don't have to think about it and it's just a feeling and it looks good every time, these lenses won't make that much of a difference. You'll buy them and you'll go, these kind of suck, the YouTubers lied to me. No, they're just not probably meant for you at the level you're at right now, and that's fine. Upgrade to these when you feel like you have to, when you have clients asking for it, when you feel like you need that, and somebody goes, hey, can you make it look like this? I really like how the thing looks, and you see it's anamorphic. When you hear that a lot, now you buy these. This might be a little controversial, drones. I finally bought a drone. This is the DJI Mini 4 Pro. I think this video will be released before the ban. So if you're watching this video before the ban, buy one of these. If you're concerned about the ban only stops DJI from importing drones. That's it. You'll be good to fly these, you'll be fine. Mini 4 Pro, I've been flying it looks great. I've used like the Mavic 3. It's amazing. It's something you should eventually get. I regret kind of not getting one sooner. I've been talking about getting a drone, and my philosophy has always been, well, if I haven't ever lost a job because I don't have a drone, why would I buy a drone? Admittedly, having now bought a drone, it's something to advertise as your business. Hey, we do drone. That does say you are a level above everybody else. Drones are not the first thing people buy. Obviously, it's on this side of the table and not this side of the table. That's why we're talking about it. But I gotta say, was very worth it. However, if you get a drone, especially a DJI drone, get the RC2 controller. This one has a screen on it. I've yet to figure out how to play Clash Royale on this. That's one of my goals. Can I play Clash Royale on the DJI controller, but it has a screen built in so you don't have to attach your phone. This is worth all the money in the world. It's worth it, I promise. But a drone just isn't something you need straight out of the gate. Now, if you're a real estate videographer, that might be a little bit different. However, this is an extra little bit of sauce you can add on top of your videos. I found when doing weddings, YouTube videos, you'll see drone more in my YouTube videos coming up, that it really does add a little something extra. And that's what this video is about. Start here, work your way into the something extra. Get the extra kick of light, get the extra kick of light, get the extra bit of sauce on your image, get a lot of bit of extra sauce on your image. Keep your image running forever, and then add something that most people don't have. That's what a drone's for. I think that they're a good investment. I don't think you should be spending more than like $1,200 on a drone if you don't need it for your work or getting requested for your work. You'll probably be wasting money, but it is something else to add that really differentiates you from the crowd and levels up your stuff. People do love aerial shots, and there are ways to make that drone match with like these lenses. There are anamorphic attachments for drones now. I think they look pretty good, but you can fake it in DaVinci Resolve to get yourself that look. So thank you guys for watching. This is my TED Talk on gear you need and gear you should probably get once you're better. If you guys have other gear that you think I should have mentioned in the video, leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Always loving hearing what my viewers say, critiques, other things that I might have missed. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. It helps. These videos aren't always super easy and they take time to make, so I do appreciate the support. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.